What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 in my monthly series where I review my dividend stock picks of the month from a year ago. So many other YouTubers have stock pick videos where they present their opinions on certain stocks and why you should invest in them, but there is usually no follow-up, right? Were they right? Were they wrong? In most cases, we don't really know. That's why I decided that it would be fair to all my viewers to revisit my old stock picks to actually find out if it was a good pick or not. So in this video, I will go back and revisit my stock picks of the month from 1 year ago and check how the stock is doing now 1 year later. So it's time to review my stocks for the month of June 2020. I will not only check the share price but also the status of the dividend, which is even more important for us income investors. Was I right? Was I wrong? Let's find out together. Alright guys, let's go through all my 4 stock picks for the month of June 2020 of a year ago. Let's see if I was right. Pick number 1, the Harvest Energy Leaders Plus Income ETF, stock symbol HPF. So this one's really a no-brainer. The stock price was $238 at the time, giving you a 15% dividend yield. So this ETF is really a portfolio of 20 large global energy companies, and it does use a covered call strategy. So I found it pretty funny what I wrote in my reasoning here. So of course the reasoning makes sense, right? Energy stocks battered by COVID-19 as demand for oil plummeted. I also said that this ETF is only blue chip companies, which has less risk. Oil demand and prices will rise as the lockdowns ease, and this ETF is diversified in terms of region, but does focus primarily on the US, or 55%. So my takeaway: it's a great entry point for investors. Crazy monthly dividend yield. Listen to this: a dividend reduction is possible, but unlikely. I find that pretty funny because even when I'm wrong, I'm kind of right. I do say a dividend reduction is possible. I was right, but unlikely. I was wrong. Either way, the yield would still be high. So we'll check out the report card after because that's exactly what happened. And I also write that this is a good alternative to the NXF ETF, which has no Canadian energy exposure whatsoever. So at the time, I was right. NXF did not have Canada, but they actually changed their policy to include Canada now. So there's Suncor and Canadian Natural Resources. So they kicked out the Chinese companies in NXF and added the Canadian one. So now NXF is actually my go-to when it comes to energy. Pick number 2, another one of my favorite ETFs from Harvest. This is definitely my favorite one from them. HHL, the Healthcare Leaders Income ETF. So the stock price was $768 during my pick, and this is really an ETF that has 20 of the biggest global healthcare companies in the world. It also does a covered call strategy. So my points and reasoning for this one is pretty easy, or pretty simple. It's a very easy and safe way to invest in the powerful US healthcare system. Healthcare is a defensive sector. The sector has remained resilient during COVID-19, right? We need those vaccines. And my takeaway is that healthcare companies make huge profits. They're very powerful, especially in the US. And it's important for us Canadians to get in on the action because there's no healthcare companies in the Canadian stock market whatsoever. So that was my reasoning for this one. Pick number 3 is a single stock, one of the only single stocks that I still own right now. Diversified Royalty Corporation. I absolutely love this stock. I love the concept behind it. So the price was $175, which was giving a dividend yield of $11.43. So we'll see how it's doing now in a second. So this is a royalty corporation. They basically acquire trademark royalties from well-managed businesses in North America, and their objective is to pay those royalties or those royalty streams to us in dividends. So you could see actually the partners there. Their biggest one by far is Mr. Lube. They also have Air Miles and Sutton, which is a real estate broker, and a couple of other ones like Mr. Mike's Nurse Next Door and Oxford Learning. So my reasoning and takeaway for this one was that this company exists to pay dividends to shareholder, which is always music to our ears if we're a passive income investors, right? They invest in stable, well-established businesses. They did acquire a couple of new companies in the last couple of years: Mr. Mike's Nurse Next Door in 2019, Oxford in 2020. They raised their dividend twice between 2019 and 2020, but they reduced it in April 2020 because of COVID. So they reduced it from 23.5 cents to 20 cents, so a 15% reduction, like I say here. So I say that the dividend reduction of 15% because of COVID was relatively small and justified because some of their businesses are suffering, especially Mr. Mike's, which is restaurant chain. So like I say here, it's a great entry point for investors. There's great upside potential, and as well as a dividend increase, or when they put the dividend back to normal. My fourth pick is Bridgemark Real Estate Services, my favorite real estate broker stock. So this is a company is actually owned by Brookfield. So like you could see on the left, they own 3 real estate brokers. Royal LePage is by far their biggest one. I mean, this is a big one in Canada. They own like 19% of all residential sales or something like that. So the May 29 price was it got plummeted because real estate went down during the crash. So the stock went from 16.85 from 1 year high to 10.12. So you were getting a 13% dividend yield for this one. And my points and reasoning, pretty simple. They haven't missed a dividend ever. They also released a press release back last year in May saying that the business measures were put in place to protect distributions or dividends. So I really like that. I wrote a dividend cut is unlikely as the real estate market starts to pick up post-COVID. It turns out I was completely right. We'll see in a second in my report card. But I really like the stock because this is one of the only ways that us regular people, everyday people, can make money from those crazy commissions that real estate brokers make. So I thought that was a good idea for this stock here. So now let's check out the report card. Let's see, was I right? Was I wrong? Let's see how the stocks are doing, and the dividend, more importantly, 1 year later. All right, guys, let's go back to school. Let's check out the report card for June 2020. First one is HPF, the Harvest Energy Leader. So this one went from 238 to 277 stock price 1 year later. So right now it's at 277. So there is an increase of 16.39% within a year, which is really good. But they did, as we all know, lower the dividend by 66%. So it went from 36 cents a year to 12 cents a year. So I did make it neutral here. I didn't make it, it's not a bad pick because you still went up 16.39%. You still collected income, but they did eventually lower their dividend. I did actually have this pick also for April, but in April it was 190, and you made 43% if you actually picked it up in April, and that's why I put a higher price, or I put a yes here instead of a neutral, because 43%, that definitely deserves a green or a yes in my opinion. HHL, so this one, HHL is actually very stable stock. It doesn't go up much, it doesn't go down much, but if you would have picked it up, you would have, it's now 8.18, so 768 to 8.18. You would have made a gain, or a capital gain, rather, of 6.51%. The dividend completely unchanged. You haven't missed a beat, so this is definitely a good pick. And now we get to our 2 single stocks. Diversified Royalty, this is now 251, so you would have made an enormous increase of 43.43%, which is absolutely incredible for 1 year. And this is just stock price. It doesn't even include the dividend. The dividend has remained unchanged. It's still 20 cents, so it's still really good stock pick. Really good stock. I absolutely love this one. It's one of the few single stocks like BRE, which I will keep. So BRE went even more nuts. This went from 10.12. It's now at 17.65. So you would have made an astronomical 74, almost 75% share price increase. And the best news for me is really that they have not changed the dividend. They haven't missed a beat. So all in all for June, my picks were really good. I have to say HPF, I mean, like I wrote, it's possible but unlikely a dividend distribution. Turned out that's exactly what happened, but either way you would have made a nice 16% gain. So as we go on through the months, guys, the next month for July and August, I also have 4 picks, and then I go down to 3 picks a month like I have them now, and we'll see what happens going forward. So there you go, there you have it, guys. The report card for June is in. So far so good, I have to say, but honestly I don't think I'm a genius or anything like that. It just makes sense because these picks were taken or were done during the COVID-19 volatility. But as we go on through the months, it will definitely get harder to pick some stocks, so we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, please support this channel by hitting the like button. I would really appreciate it. It's free for you. It helps the channel grow, so it's a win-win. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you can purchase my digital product, the Ultimate Dividend Passive Income Investing Package, which is all my years of research put into that file. It's all the stocks you ever need to build your own portfolio. It comes with lifetime updates. It also has sample portfolios, 2 sample portfolios portfolios for Canadians, 2 sample portfolios for Americans. So it's very, very useful. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I also offer a consultation service, a one-on-one video chat with me personally, where you could ask me all the questions you want. I could help you build a new portfolio, modify your existing portfolio, whatever your needs are. However, right now I am completely booked. As you could see from the message on the homepage on the calendar, I'm completely booked until end of July. So I'll let you guys know when the August appointments or the August calendar opens up. It will open up in a month or two. It's very easy to book an appointment. It's right there on my website when the appointments open up. Finally, make sure you're subscribed, guys, so you don't miss out on my future videos, on my future content on passive income investing. It's all geared to help you guys in your investing journey. We're also on Instagram. Follow us there if you use that, and also on Facebook. Our Facebook group is growing. We're at over 1,100 members, so we have a nice little community there. So make sure to join us so you could participate in the questions and the back and forth. It's really, really positive and useful for many people. Our mission, the mission of this channel remains the same, guys. It's to help everyday working people to invest on their own in order to build their own stream of passive income or their own paycheck so you can enhance your quality of life. So with that, take care, guys. Stay safe and see you next time.